Namaskar, everyone. Here I am again to be a part of your TTC 300 this time. And I would like to begin with expressing my gratitude towards Kadambari Didi, Saki, and Lisa for making it possible um, with all their sincere efforts. And I hope I am able to explain you the topics of anatomy. So, to begin with, who am I and why am I here? My name is Sumedha Tulani, and I am a qualified licensed psychologist practicing in India. I have my own private practice running under the name of Mother Yourself First. My expertise is to help people heal from childhood abuse, trauma, grief, anxiety, depression, and I offer psychotherapy services for the same. So, just about little bit about my background. Why am I here? I have studied philosophy, clinical psychology, rehabilitation psychology, and I was trained in work dealing with sensitive traumatic cases. Throughout my experience, one thing I gained from my education is how working on nervous system, on your physical body is as important as working on your thoughts. How taking care of your physical health and your internal parts plays a very important role in healing your negative emotional states that have developed from painful past experiences of your childhood. So, as I was in my experiencing and educational journey about trauma and psychology, I also went in through my personal setbacks, especially in COVID. So, that was the time I realized that I have to first work on myself, and then only I'll be able to impart this information, this knowledge. And that's when I landed in Praguna and I did my TTC through 200 course, and next year, and within 1 year, TTC 300, where I integrated everything that Didi has practically taught us, and you are also learning there. From Kunjal, Pranayama, working asana class, karma yoga, everything. This program is so beautifully structured that every activity, every reflection will help you actually change your wiring in the brain. Your neuroplasticity comes into existence in this 1 month that you are living here, and therefore I integrated my Praguna experience with my education, and I could be a living example for myself. How working on nervous system actually helped me heal my painful past experiences, which is why here I am to teach you nervous system, limbic system, lymphatic system, and just a detailed anatomy. Just one more minute, I would like to take to request you to bear with me and my mistakes, as this is the first time I'm sitting in front of the screen and recording a lecture. So, we all learn from mistakes by making mistakes. So, I really welcome your feedback after going through today's lecture, this video recorded lecture, and let Diti, Saki, and Lisa know so that I can make the required changes in my upcoming lectures. So, open to page number 89, 90 of your manual. Today, I will be repeating the same lecture that we could not do it together in the last live class. Open to page number 90. There is a blue colored flow chart of nervous system on your manual. We'll start by understanding the basic structure of nervous system. Nervous system means the entire electrical and wiring pathway from brain to different parts of body. Okay, it's divided into two categories. CNS, it means central nervous system. It means which is located on in the center of your body. The first division of CNS and PNS is done on the basis of location of the nerves. So, central nervous system means in the center, which is the brain and the spinal cord in the body. Okay, which is why central nervous system, brain, and spinal cord. Second category is PNS, peripheral nervous system. Peripheral means boundary. So, peripheral would be my arms and my legs. Anything outside my center belongs to peripheral nervous system. So, under central nervous system, we will be studying parts of brain. We will be studying polyvagal theory. Under peripheral nervous system, just for the understanding right now, what comes is motor nervous system and sensory. Motor, wherever you learn or read the word motor, it means movement. And sensory, it means touch, senses. We have five senses: eyes, nose, tongue, ears, and skin. So all the nerve endings that are connected from five senses and taken back to the brain, that bunch of nerves is categorized as sensory nervous system. All the nerve endings that are connected with my muscles and also the brain that help me move my body, like I'm moving my fingers and arms, these bunch of nerves come under motor nervous system. Very simple example to make you remember is, if you touch a flame, a candle flame or a hot burner, immediately without even thinking, you would in a reflex take your hand back like this. So this touching a hot glass is sensory nervous system, and reflex action of taking it back is done by motor nervous system. Now, motor nervous system is again divided into two parts. One is autonomic. Autonomic means automatic, which is not in our conscious awareness and it happens outside of control. Another one is somatic. Somatic comes from the Greek word soma, which means body. So, any motor movement that I do with my will and choice, like sitting on the floor, getting up, every asana class is somatic motor nervous system. And another one that happens outside of my control is autonomic motor nervous system. Now, in the autonomic, we have again three categories. The above PNS was peripheral nervous system. The PNS in autonomic nervous system is parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, parasympathetic nervous system, and the earlier one here, this one is peripheral nervous system. Now, coming to parasympathetic nervous system. No, we'll come to it later. Sorry. Let me just explain three divisions. Parasympathetic nervous system. Then comes sympathetic nervous system. And then another one is enteric nervous system. So the bunch of nerves that are connected with my brain to different organs in my body, like my lungs, like my heart, that help me slow down. When I am in Shavasana, when we are in Makarasana, or forward bending into child pose, suddenly we are sending a signal for our brain that it's okay, everything is fine. Now I need to slow down my heartbeat when we take deep breaths. So, whatever nerves help you to relax when you are taking deep, long, slow breaths is done with the help of parasympathetic nervous system. When we are we are active, we are in asana class, hip opening, back bending, all of this is muscles are contracted, we are attending to what Didi is saying, we are on full concentration. That time, the nerves that are activated are categorized as sympathetic nervous system. And whatever nerves are stimulated on the day of Shanka Prakshalan, okay? When we massage our intestine, when we do all the asanas for our digestive system, and when we poop, all the nerves that are being stimulated, all the nerves that are connected with our gut to brain, is that bunch of nerves, that category of nerves is labeled as enteric nervous system. Okay, so I will take just Two more minutes to revise. Nervous system based on location, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system, the sensory and motor part that helps me sense the things in the environment, and accordingly I can express and respond with movement. In movement, we have two categories. One that happens beyond our awareness, out of our control, which is autonomic, automatic nervous system. That would include my stomach digesting the food, my heart beating, pumping blood, my lungs filtering the oxygen. And another part is somatic, which is automatic or in my control, which means when I am in asana class or I'm in gym, I'm moving on my own. In autonomic comes three major categories. We have to focus on PNS and SNS in further classes. So PNS is parasympathetic nervous system that helps our body regulate and slow down, relax. And another one is sympathetic nervous system that helps our body to perform in high concentrated alert situations when we are sitting in class, when we are working, or when we are driving. And then comes enteric nervous system. This is all the bunch of nerves connected with stomach, gut, not just stomach, but the entire gut line. That would include our esophagus, the food pipe, liver, pancreas, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. Okay. So coming back to yes, next page. So not coming back, going forward to the next page, page number 90. We will start by first category of nervous system, central nervous system, in which we are going to study brain today. So brain, page number 90. Uh, I will make you understand anatomy of brain first. Okay. Just leave the notes and focus on this picture. So here we are, see, brain is so complicated. It's also labeled as CPU, Central Processing Unit of our body. Therefore, we are going to understand brain on the basis of the parts that play certain role in specific locations. For example, in this picture, we are seeing six parts of the brain. Okay. One, frontal lobe, parietal lobe. Second is parietal lobe. Third is occipital lobe. And fourth is temporal lobe. Okay. Fifth is cerebellum. And sixth is brainstem. Now we will understand what these parts do. But how are we labeling these parts is based on the location again. The frontal lobe is because it is located in the front part of the brain. Occipital lobe is located in the back part of the brain. Parietal lobe in the top part, and temporal lobe, since brain is structured in a hemispherical form. So if I cut this brain structure in half, the inside portion would be, the bottom inside portion would be temporal lobe. And you can also like put your hand like this and see that the brain anatomy is somewhat resembling to the shape of our fist when we put it like this. So the lower part would be, this part would be brainstem and this part would be cerebellum. Now, ignore the notes and I hope you all are still attentive and you are here with me. Frontal lobe. This is the most evolved part of the brain. So, if you would have like studied that how humans have evolved from monkeys, apes, then early men, then proper human being, it is because earlier the brain structure was only limited to brainstem and cerebellum, then developed the later part, And today, the most like upgraded software version is frontal lobe. We also have the like latest elitist version where we study this part of the brain as prefrontal cortex. Okay, if you read the word cortex, it means the outer structure of the brain that is called cortex. Now, the frontal lobe is related to all the high cognitive functioning, which is we read, we learn, memorize, reading, learning, memorizing, logical thinking, reasoning, sense of humor, wittiness, all of the cognitive functions that involve intelligence that is coming from frontal lobe, and all the activities that humans are doing these days that disrupt their intelligence is, for example, binge watching or doom scrolling or using a lot of watching a lot of shorts or reels that disturb the attention span is also disturbing the functioning of this frontal lobe. Okay, so this frontal lobe is also responsible, and it works best when we are very much relaxed, regulated. A lot of blood pumping is happening, blood supply is happening in the brain. Our heartbeat is low, our deep breaths are deep, like we are, our breaths are deep, our heartbeat is low when we are very much relaxed and regulated, mostly after Shavasana or Yoga Nidra class, or after when we do Kunjalniti and post pranayama meditation class, when we are completely connected with every sensation in the body. The frontal lobe is maximum activated that time. Okay. So, why have I said these last few examples? I will explain later how activation of frontal lobe is the main game in healing trauma. Maybe most of you, I have, from whatever batches I have interacted with in Praguna, um, I have understood that a lot of healing also happens in these classes, asana class, in yoga nidra class, when we are like some of us dream, some of us are going through some phenomena subconsciously. A lot of healing is happening in whatever we are doing. We are building more connected, maybe joyful, happy relationships, friendships here. So, it is all because of we are put in an environment and in a disciplined routine structure where we are consciously activating and wiring, like sending good signals, and with a lot of practice and repetitions, we are training our frontal lobe to work in its best capacity. Okay. Next comes parietal lobe. Nothing much about it, just to remember that all the sensory experiences, for example, when we taste the food or when we are just looking at the sky, the sunset, all the sensation related information that we consume through our five senses and taken to the brain, it is this part of the brain that decodes it and reads it and makes us have a response against it. Then comes occipital lobe. You can memorize by this O and this structure of an eye. I'm sorry, I'm doing it for the first time. I'm trying to make an eye here. It's because the nerves starting from occipital lobe are directly connected inside to our eyes. So whatever visual sense stimulation, just looking at things, blinking, anything related to eye is happening in our body is processed by occipital lobe at the back. Next comes temporal lobe. So you can imagine temporal lobe could be connected located here, which is around our ears. So all the auditory, apart from like we talked about senses in parietal lobe, but especially exclude the auditory part, the ear part, the hearing part, and the motor movement part, is somewhere controlled by this area of nerves in the brain, which we call out as temporal lobe. Okay. Next comes cerebellum. So cerebellum is also called as mini brain. As you can see, one big brain and similar to one small structure here, mini brain. It To understand its function, just remember these three letters. I'm trying to be a smart teacher, but I think I cannot. Gym. When we are at gym or in asana class, we are doing voluntary, controlled, conscious movements. All those movements can only happen when cerebellum is working fine. It is the oldest brain structure, so you may find this brain structure in other species like birds, animals, mammals, not yeah, mammals, birds and animals also. So, in earlier time, when there was early men, hunterers, gatherers time of era, people used to live in collective, like what, bunches, and they used to walk from one place to another, protecting, surviving themselves, fetching food. They lacked capacity in frontal brain, but the backside of the brain, the occipital lobe, the cerebellum, were very much developed, which helped them in movement. So nowadays we don't have to walk and walk and walk to like kilometers of forest areas to survive. So whatever movement we do consciously is done by cerebellum. Next comes brainstem. Again, this is the oldest structure, so it involves in taking care of basic human function, which is regulating the temperature of the body, the heart rate, the peeing and pooping functions in the body. All of this, the basic survival. Any function you can imagine that is experienced by an infant. An infant can, like, we check the baby's body temperature, we check if the baby has peed or pooped, we check the heartbeat. So all the basic survival functions that are automatically happening is taken care by the brainstem. Okay. Now, coming to page 90, cerebrum. It is the largest, page 90, everyone, cerebrum, part A. It is the largest part of the brain divided into two hemispheres, left and right. So, this entire picture that you are seeing right now is one hemisphere cut into half. And this one half picture, we are seeing it from inside. Okay, there is this hemisphere cut into half. Now if I take down this half, the inner part of this half is what we are seeing on the screen. So the entire outer surface of the brain, which I also mentioned as cortex, is also called cerebrum. So this is something we will, you can, I mean, you'll come across in understanding brain is different scientific technical terms, but they mean the same. You don't have to remember because it's in the notes. I'm the teacher, so I'm just teaching. Functions is again the four lobes that we studied: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. I don't know why is it not here, but anyway. Next comes cerebellum, already made you understand, located under the cerebrum or the back of, so this entire thing, these four lobes is called cerebrum, and then comes cerebellum, and then comes brainstem. Connects brain to the spinal cord, as you can imagine visually. There from here continues the spinal cord. Okay, so brainstem connects brain to the spinal cord. Uh, Again, this brain stem is divided into three structures which are not in the picture but they are in the notes. So I am just reading. Midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. Let me see if I have it here. Mm, because it's too detailed, so mm, It's not required. I'll explain it through this part only. So pons is there is a ball-like structure located here, which is called pons. It relays information between different parts of brain, particularly cerebrum and cerebellum. So this is the cerebellum. This entire thing is the this is cerebellum. Wait, is this pen working? This is cerebellum. This entire big brain is cerebrum. Sorry, I'm just missing. Now, from this part to this part, the information goes like this through this ball-like structure here. This is called pons. P-O-N-S. Okay. Now, after pons is medulla oblongata, this long stem. This long stem, this much part is medulla oblongata, and pons plus medulla oblongata is called as brainstem or midbrain because this is the lower part of the brain, this is the upper part of the brain, and this blue stem part is called middle part of the brain, therefore midbrain. Medulla oblongata controls autonomic functions, which I mentioned about the imagine an infant, like heart rate, blood pressure, breathing. It also manages reflexes like coughing, swallowing, sneezing. Anything an infant would do, you can remember that it is done by medulla oblongata, which is a part of brainstem. This much is enough. Next comes, now there is a word called diencephalon. It is just a scientific term for English word brain. That's it. Next comes the diencephalon located at the core of the brain. This region is made up of structures like thalamus and hypothalamus. Now, we are going one layer deeper inside this brain. Okay. As I told you before, imagine this as a brain. Okay. We cut, oh God, we cut it into two parts. We remove this part, remaining this half semi-heavy hemispherical part. We remove this half. This part we have studied from outside, four lobes. Now from outside we have done from inside. Comes this diencephalon area, which includes two new structures, which is thalamus and hypothalamus. So, um, thalamus, yes. So this is thalamus, this yellow structure, this all area we just studied this all area as four lobes. This is pons. This is medulla oblongata. All of these two parts together are called as brainstem or midbrain. Now, beyond this outer layer, there is another layer, different parts, which are named as thalamus, and there is this blue part, hypothalamus. So right now we are focusing on yellow part and this blue part, thalamus and hypothalamus. What does thalamus do? Relay station for sensory information, except smell, sending it to appropriate parts of cerebrum. Cerebrum is brain. Remember, we studied this part, parietal lobe and temporal lobe, and I talked about temporal, auditory, parietal, other senses. So inside this part is hypothalamus and thalamus, which is related to sensory information except smell. Why except smell? Because here somewhere in this area, here in this area, in this area or this area, I don't remember the exact, but somewhere there is all something called olfactory bulb that is again connected with your brain separately, which is related to olfaction. Olfaction means nose, anything related to nose, any smell, any dirty smell or fruity, flowery, any good smell that we consume from our environment is connected to olfactory bulb, is taken to the olfactory bulb where it is directly connected to brain separately, which is why the brain part that is receiving other sensory information like taste, sound, vision, it comes through a different pathway, and the nose sense information comes through a different pathway. Okay, not mentioned in the notes. Now comes hypothalamus. It is essential for body functions like, again, the infant part. Temperature, hunger, thirst, sleep. You can just imagine a baby whose body temperature is being measured, who is hungry, so like baby would cry, thirsty, sleepy. All the basic survival mechanisms are also taken care by hypothalamus, and also in the earlier part as brainstem. Okay, so different parts of the brain working together in same function, also working separately with different function, which is why brain is complex. So we are only studying the parts of brain that will help us understand how different yoga activities help us stimulate these specific parts of the brain, which if in further help us work on taking care of nervous system better, which further will help us shift into more like higher vibrational, more happy, joyful state of mind, which will help us in our healing. Okay. Now comes just when we do uh, Kunjal, Neti, or Shankar Prakshalan, hypothalamus and thalamus, like all these parts are very much activated because we are stimulating those basic locations and functions of the body that are autonomic, like this gag reflex while Kunjal. Okay. Next comes limbic system. So, limbic system, you can remember limbic system, write a word in the bracket on your notes manual, emotions. Or so far we studied frontal lobe related to all the cognitive activities, intelligent activities, more evolved, developed part where you decide whether you want to trust someone or not, where you are performing an exam or like any like driving, even driving, any high level smart cognitive skill which requires smartness and intelligence is frontal lobe. The sensory part is remaining brain, where parietal lobe is more around this senses, touch, skin, any sensory information. When we are bathing, when we are shaking hands, hugging, parietal lobe is activated. Temporal is more about auditory. Occipital is more about your visual eyes. And cerebellum and brainstem are your basic survival functions. Okay. So far, we were talking about intelligence, senses, and survival functions like hunger, thirst, heartbeat, temperature, sleep. We have not talked about the parts of brain which are activated or which are lit when we are going through anxiety, overthinking, sadness, anger, frustration, basic primary emotional states. So that is taken care by certain parts of the body that is responsible when or where those are activated when we are angry, triggered, frustrated. These specific parts are combined together and they are given an umbrella name which is called limbic system. Okay, so all the parts, which is thalamus, pineal gland, hippocampus, thalamus, pineal gland, hippocampus, cerebellum, basal ganglia, cerebrum, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and amygdala. All these parts lit up like a bulb uh, when we are going through or experiencing an emotion, either during classes or your journaling, or maybe in your dreams also, when you are watching a scary dream, or when you are in your real time triggered by someone. All these parts are responsible. And one very, very, very important part that is always activated in most of us is amygdala. You can remember the function of amygdala with the word. I am trying to write something, I don't know. Fear. Okay. So whenever we have anxious, worrying, fear based, doubtful thinking, when we're not able to have faith or trust in future plans, in our relationships, anywhere, it is because of our painful past experiences that have constantly triggered the amygdala, and it has become so big in size that it hijacks all the functioning of other parts of the brain. Okay, it hijacks and it functions all the time. So with meditation, and especially yoga nidra, and a lot of conscious breathing, pranayama, retention of breath, we are sending signals to the brain to reduce the size of amygdala. And when the amygdala is at its maximum functioning, highest size, more anxious and depressed and worried and stressed life we are living on, and we are also, if some of us are coping with substance, sex, or smoking, or binge watching, not sleeping, like lot of coffee, lot of dopamine, or what do we call it? Reward, like short term pleasure system, when we are going through those experiences, again amygdala is more activated. And the interesting part, when amygdala is activated, cerebellum is activated, because cerebellum and brainstem are responsible for increased heart rate, for in usually the heart rate and breathing is shallow, heart rate is increased when we smoke, when we are triggered, when we are overthinking, stressed. And when all of this is happening, where cerebellum and brainstem and basic functions and amygdala is more activated, we are in the sympathetic nervous system state. Okay, which state? Sympathetic nervous system state. Okay, and what is off is the frontal lobe. That's why there's a thing called that we should not take decisions or promises when we are extremely angry or sad, because the frontal lobe is not working. What is working is cerebellum, brain, and somewhere there teeny tiny swollen part of amygdala. Okay. If I am going fast, I think I tend to go fast when I am teaching. You can reduce the speed since it's a YouTube video. Now coming to amygdala. Okay. Um, Whatever activities we do in ashram, especially silence days, lot of reflection is happening. The asana class is very slow. For me, it was so boring. Sorry, Didi, if you are around here watching this video. Um, where we have to uh like Didi used to say, pay attention to the blood circulation, to the heartbeat, to the senses, to the muscles being stretched, everything. On purpose saying it slow. Everything that we do slowly gives a signal to our amygdala to reduce its size. When the amygdala is reduced, our anxious, triggered, stressed, fearful, overwhelmed way of perceiving the world, our perceptions also start to fade down, and our frontal lobe slowly gets activated. So, this is the frontal lobe. This is the thalamus and amygdala structure here somewhere. Now, when this is more activated, this is, you can see there's more darker in the inside part and light here. There is a radar in our brain that constantly scans for threats. Okay? Threats, as in maybe you can recall the first day and you are just checking everyone out, making eye contacts, and just catching a vibe like who seems more nice, more friendly to reach out to, whom I can become more friends easily with. So this constant radar, when you are traveling, you are in metro, especially in India, and you are in subways or buses or on roads, you are constantly scanning who can be more friendly, who can help me with the navigation or any way. There's a constant radar. Now, when we go through past painful past experiences, this radar starts to develop for a child so that they can keep scanning and keep seeing whom to reach out, whom to not reach out. And slowly, if the painful traumatic experiences don't end or they end but we are not taking care of the damage that happens, this radar never reduces. This is all the time active, which is why most of us, including me, everyone, tend to perceive a threat in our thoughts, which is why we are not able to trust anyone in the world so easily if we have if we have gone through traumatic experiences. So with yoga, with all the activities in the ashram, we are telling this radar that it's okay, it doesn't need to work anymore, it has done its job, it has helped us survive, so it can slow down. And we are asking the frontal lobe to activate itself. This is human threat response system. Okay, where dysregulation is happening. As dysregulation means, just in easy way, you can say that you are triggered. Your muscles are contracted, your nerves are not functioning in a balanced way. Frontal lobe offline, it's not working. Back brain, which is your brainstem, medulla oblongata, cerebellum, it's online, survival mode. Only heartbeat and basic things like sleep, poop, hunger, thirst, only that is activated, which is why we also get stuck in a mundane routine and we're not able to connect with everything, not enjoy relationships, we don't feel the growth in life, we don't enjoy socialization, we don't enjoy anything. That's because this we are barely surviving. Okay, neocortical means frontal lobe functioning, it's reduced. Stress is maximum, functioning is reduced, and there is a lot of constricted muscular energy in the body, in the nervous system. And what we do, we end up being aggressive or avoidant, not wanting to connect or talk to anyone, staying isolated, numbing ourselves with substance, or we end up going back into some compulsive action like hair picking, nail biting, or like anything, maybe watching something or eating, binge eating, or eating or purging, any compulsive action we do to reduce our anxiety. So, this is happening usually in life with everyone. Once we practice yoga, we practice yoga nidra or pranayama or anything, to each their own, like for vata, pitta, kapha personalities, different yoga activities help regulate their nervous system. What would happen is we would here, the stress was a lot too much and the cognitive functioning was reduced. Now, the cognitive functioning has increased and stress is now regulated. And we are living an intentional life because we have that space to decide, okay, this has happened. Earlier, I used to be very defensive, very reactive, but now I have a choice. I will ask myself, how do I want to react to this situation, which used to trigger me a lot. And earlier, there was a lot of defensive fight, aggressive energy in the muscles, which is why maybe asana class or any form of activity could help you regulate. But there's a saying called trauma is stored or stuck in nervous system. It means that whenever any painful past experience must have happened, there was certain change that occurred in your entire neurochemistry, entire nervous system and muscles that helped you survive that time. But now that change is stuck. It's not reversed. Therefore, all the psychosomatic aches and pains, like any physical pain, upper back, sciatica, headache, migraine, thyroid, PCOD, any form of pain which does not have an organic cause, where all the tests are very clear, we tend to get no reason. It's because the stuck, unprocessed, painful memories and negative emotional states have hijacked the muscular and the nervous system, and our nervous system is not going working in balance, and we respond either in fight reaction, or either we try to run away, either we go numb, or either we keep surviving and coping by taking care of everyone in our life. That is people pleasing. So the energy is super high, the cognition is super low, and after yoga and healing, the energy gets low, the cognition gets high, and we get to have a intentional, slow, happy choice, choiceful of life. Okay. Now, so far we have understood brain, entire brain we have understood. Okay. One last part, the brain and threat perception. Earlier, see, lizard brain, only reptiles used to have this. Sorry, we all used to have the reptilian brain, which is this pons, medulla oblongata. This entire thing is called brainstem, and this is called cerebellum. This is all responsible for survival functions. Then developed where we from reptiles we became apes. We started having certain basic emotions like happy, sad, angry, and scare, fear. Okay, and disgust. Where you could see animal mama and animal babies having that emotional bonding and moment. This part developed slowly and it is called limbic system. And hippocampus is specifically connected with memories. All of the life that is happening that we remember, or we get to tap the old memories through hypnosis or focusing. Anything memory related is hippocampus. Anything fear related is amygdala. Okay. So, hippocampus, if it keeps us reminding of painful past experiences, the amygdala would be keep like lighting up and it keeps getting bigger. So, basic survival function, emotional function related to painful memories or just memories or fear. And then slowly, with evolution, the main part of the brain changed. We became humans. We started having more intellectual cognitive part of brain where we could learn, understand virtues like honesty, truth, faith, spirituality, all these complex and abstract parts of life. So right now I would end this video explaining it till here. In the next video, I would start by teaching you from page number 92. Um, I think I've completed page number 92, 93 also, peripheral nervous system, parts of nervous system. In the next video, I will start teaching you. Please open your page 94 in your manual, polyvagal theory. Okay.